So now that we're getting a little bit more into what exactly meditation is, um, I'd like to take a minute to help you appreciate the value of meditation. Um, and one of the ways that we do that is by becoming aware and understanding what's called the software of the soul. Most of us make our decisions based on habit and conditioning, whether we know it or not. When you take action, that's karma, you create a memory of that action, which is a sanskara. The memory leads to desires, vasanas, which prompt future actions, and this becomes a circle, and that is what we call the software of the soul, the conditioning of our past actions, memories, and desires. It's the program that runs our lives. I found that in teaching meditation, this is something that will come up for students over and over again, and I think it really resonates with students, and once you get to understand this, it's probably one of the most helpful components to becoming an avid meditator. You see, the cycle limits you to repeating old patterns. Your memories and desires exist in the thinking process. Primordial Sound Meditation takes you beyond the limitations of the thoughts and the memories and the desires. It brings you into the field of infinite possibilities. When you're in the field of infinite possibilities, you can then recognize the opportunity to move away from old patterns, consciously choosing the life that you want to lead, over being ruled by your memories and being used by your memories. You can experience greater joy and creativity and love once you start to recognize this process as happening. As you move through life, it's easy to get locked into old patterns, and that keeps leading back to the same karmic action. This process is like driving a car down a dirt road many times. Over time, the wheels carve ruts, and the dirt and the car automatically work together. The car follows the path that you've taken before, because those ruts are so deep. It's the path of least resistance. This is a conditioned habit. Your current path may serve you for a while, but if you forget that you can choose other roads, you may find yourself stuck in that well-honed rut. Meditation will help you break free of these ruts that you've already been conditioned to have in your life. Let's take, for example, say you haven't had any caffeine for years, but one morning it was a really late night and you were out, and in the morning you decided that you were going to grab a quick cup of coffee to get you through the day. And that seems like a pretty harmless action for the most part, right? Well, but it's karma, and this action, this karma, creates a memory, and that's through the sanskara. And that feeling of being more awake and more alert after you have that delicious coffee is all great things, and your brain associates that feeling with the cup of joe. So the next day, although you've recovered, you've recuperated, you've had plenty of rest the night before, you all of a sudden experience this unfamiliar desire, or a vasana, to have that same feeling of energy and alertness that you had the day prior to that when you got the coffee. So without even thinking about it, you grab your keys and you drive over to the coffee shop. And eventually, day after day, you return to the coffee shop, creating a routine. Before you really understand how you get there, you become a one cup of coffee person every morning. Fortunately, that is where meditation can help break you free of this cycle, or can actually help you avoid it altogether. There's also witnessing awareness. You can reprogram your soul software by becoming aware of this process that's happening and the choices that you make. So as you develop, take the steps to develop witnessing awareness, you'll find that things are more effortless in your life. The first is to witness the choice and you're making in each moment. By witnessing your choices, you bring decision-making process from the unconscious realm into the conscious realm. And the second step is to stop and reflect. When you make a choice, you have to ask yourself some questions. You might not always think that this is going to be a helpful exercise, but this is how you break these patterns, this conditioning. So you say to yourself, what is the consequence of this choice? Will this choice bring happiness and fulfillment to me? Will it bring happiness and fulfillment to the others that it affects? So after you take that step and you reflect a little bit on what answers come to you, then you tune into your inner wisdom. As you consider the choice before, you pay attention to the sensations in your body. So you have to become aware of how what body is reacting. This will also be helpful in terms of recognizing certain triggers if you experience anxiety. If you learn to recognize feelings of comfort or discomfort and you let them guide you, then you will feel more fulfilled in your life. You'll start to notice big changes in your just daily routines. Most people receive these messages of comfort or discomfort around the heart area. Others will receive it in their solar plexus, and that is what is the proverbial gut feeling. So, finally, the last step is to place your attention on those parts, your heart center, which is associated with the color green. So if it helps to visualize the color green, that is something that could be useful during this exercise. Or you can put your attention to your solar plexus, which is represented by the color yellow. And then say to yourself, with your full attention on those parts, how do I feel about this choice? If your body sends you a message of comfort and eagerness, then go ahead and go with that decision. But if it sends a signal of physical or emotional distress, consider the outcome or consequences of that choice. Over time, with regular practice, we begin to spontaneously make the right choices, and that is how we, in fact, rewrite the software of our soul. So I hope that this makes sense to you, and as you begin to get further into meditation, that will also aid you in making these choices every day. We'll move on to the next topic now.